Never would have thought. Rick and Morty scavenging junk in space. Suddenly, a piece of debris shattered the ship's glass. Helplessly, they had to find a place to repair the ship. They discovered that a group of Mortys lived on a small asteroid. Eventually, the two landed in a cornfield. At that moment, Farmer Rick was holding a gun. He questioned what they were doing there. Rick said he was only here to repair his ship. After repairing the ship, Rick muttered to himself as he left. Farmer Rick, on the other hand, quietly tended to his farm, feeding pigs, planting corn, brewing wine. Extra supplies were brought to Morty Town to trade for other goods. At this moment, Farmer Rick arrived at an arcade. The bartender Morty disliked Rick and said, "We're already closed." Unexpectedly, the middle-parted waiter Morty was actually the owner. At that moment, a spaceship descended upon the place. It turned out to be a group of bandit Ricks coming to capture the Mortys. The scene became chaotic. As Farmer Rick prepared to leave, the leader of these Ricks, Mediterranean Rick, asked whether he was one of the Ricks. Just as Farmer Rick said he lived nearby, one of them suddenly fired, hitting Farmer Rick in the abdomen. Immediately after, the others also opened fire, riddling Farmer Rick with bullets. Then they set the place on fire and left the scene. At the junkyard headquarters, the bandit Ricks imprisoned the captured Mortys here. Scientist Rick attempted to unlock Morty's genetic lock. Unfortunately, he failed. Mediterranean Rick, led by Oddjobs Rick, headed to the top level. He met capitalist Rick. After exchanging his earnings, he immediately left. Clearly, he had no intention of engaging with him. Unexpectedly, Farmer Rick did not die. After being repaired by a robot, he returned to his farm, only to find that his farm had already been burned to ruins. His beloved pig had been burned to death, mocking the song he once loved to hear. Farmer Rick was furious. He took out a long-sealed weapons case, decided to start his revenge. On his way to the headquarters, he discovered that two Mortys were hiding in the vehicle. As the two Mortys chatted, Farmer Rick tracked down the headquarters location, originally planning to sneak into the headquarters to force them to reveal their leader's location. Unfortunately, he made too much noise and was discovered by the other Ricks. After a chaotic battle, Dr. Morty was unfortunately shot, while Mediterranean Rick used a portal gun to escape. Just as Farmer Rick was rescuing the other Mortys, capitalist Rick arrived, aiming his gun. He knew that Farmer Rick was the one responsible for cloning Mortys back in the day, and he was the only non-cloned Rick present. This made waiter Morty extremely angry. He believed that Farmer Rick was a hypocrite. Just as capitalist Rick prepared to pop the champagne in celebration, Farmer Rick cloned a giant Morty, easily breaking through the experiment chamber, then wreaking havoc in the lab. Farmer Rick and waiter Morty took the opportunity to rescue the other Mortys. Under their cover, all the Mortys boarded the spaceship. Only Farmer Rick stayed behind to exact revenge on the Ricks at the headquarters. Under the siege of the Ricks, eventually his life force was exhausted. Farmer Rick was also battered and bruised after fighting the other Ricks. At that moment, capitalist Rick emerged, saying that Farmer Rick did not understand the freedom of clones. And then he said, "I am your father." Immediately afterward, he detonated a bomb, turning the headquarters into ruins. The Mortys in space saw the destroyed headquarters, decided to pull themselves together. In the end, each Morty chose a planet they liked, engaging in the work they enjoyed, living the life they wanted. As waiter Morty returned to the farm to rest, the protagonist Morty and protagonist Rick arrived looking for a lost fidget spinner. While the Ricks at the headquarters fought to the death over a single drop of portal fluid, the protagonists were only searching for this insignificant fidget spinner. Some people struggle, fight, and endure pain their entire lives, only for others to see it as insignificant. Some spend a lifetime chasing the ultimate limit, yet never reach what another is born into. Infinite parallel universes, everything is meaningless.